Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and we are here to go ahead and revisit. Oh, hold on. I'd like to revisit it now, but we've got production issues, so maybe we'll revisit the Atari Box in 2 other videos from now. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
And I'm Grandma's One.
The Atari Box, everybody's favorite would-be, could be, should be, maybe it won't be, vaporware box, headed off by everybody's most nostalgic name in gaming. Earlier last week, went ahead and they sent out an email to all the folks who were following, who had registered at the AtariBox.com website for their newsletter, and said, hey, look, we're really excited. We're going to open up pre-orders for the Atari Box on the 14th. They were going to start their crowdfunding campaign on the 14th of December 2017. It is the 16th today, so that was 2 days ago. All right. And then what happened was that on the 14th, everybody was expecting to see another email with a link to the crowdfunding campaign because in the previous notification, they were told you can get special discounted prices, off of, instead of it being $250 or $300 to be only $200 or $250. That's if you wanted the real wood finish, right? So everybody that was notified was waiting to see what the crowdfunding campaign, if it was going to open up, see if they can go ahead and jump in on the pre-order. Was I aspiring to do that? No, but that's beside the point. That's not the point of this particular video. But on the 14th, everybody was welcomed with a notification. Sorry, we are not going to be able to start our crowdfunding campaign now. Okay, so this is pretty much what their press release read. The countdown to the Atari Box launch on Indiegogo has been officially paused. Because of one key element on our checklist, it is taking more time to create the platform and the ecosystem the Atari community deserves. All right? Building Atari Box is incredibly important to us, and we will do whatever it takes to be sure it is worth the wait. An updated launch plan is underway, and more detailed information will be available soon. As of this time, basically, their delay is set at indefinite. They don't know when they're going to go ahead and relaunch their crowdfunding, all right? But yeah, one key element on our checklist, it is taking time to create the platform and the ecosystem the Atari community deserves. Would that one key element be that you don't have anything fucking working? Before I go on, floor is open, guys. Go.
So wait. You expected to get people's money and not even have a fucking working prototype?
That's why they were on Indiegogo.
But wait, what about that other project that they had that they indefinitely suspended? What about that? They already took those people's money.
I have an Atari Box. You can't have it.
Unbelievable. The
Wood.
gall of these people.
Wood, it's red. Yeah. Wood finish. My Atari Box. Still here. It still works.
Yep.
And so
I can't come up with any other witty thing to say at this time.
So I don't understand this. I'm trying to wrap my head around this stupid shit. I mean, what was it going to be? Was it going to be a retro pie in the middle of a Atari-like box,
or maybe they just dug up the Coleco Chameleon and just set it in the middle of the wood finish or the red and black panel, and that's what this was going to be, and that's why maybe that's why it's the delay. Because the Coleco Chameleon didn't fucking work either. So,
yeah. Well,
were there
okay.
people that actually already put up money for this already?
No.
No.
This was going to be their launch of the crowdfunding campaign. Basically, hey,
Yeah.
look, this is, you know, the
You can't
first few.
launch a crowdfunding campaign if you have no product.
Yes, you can on Indiegogo, which is, like I said, which has been the biggest red flag. I mean, concrete red flag for this fucking thing. All right.
Really? Okay.
The
I'm confusing that with Kickstarter then.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kickstarter, you can't even come to the table if you don't have some sort of conceptual prototype or anything like that.
Okay. I confused that with
nostalgia
Kickstarter.
can
My
only
mistake.
go so the nostalgia can only go so far. I mean, I understand that's the trend nowadays is the nostalgia. Obviously, I mean, you got the Super Nintendo and the Mini and all this other stuff coming out, but I just find it really wrong for them to try to take people's money.
1 Atari, 2 Atari, 3 Atari, 4. I have another Atari right here. I mean, no, this one doesn't have the wood, but I still have another one.
I think that this is this is something that if you're a potential Atari Box supporter, that you have to keep in mind. All right, okay, I'm gonna stop talking shit for the sake of talking shit right now. Okay, in my addendum video, I already laid out. It's obvious they have no third-party support set up. They have no first-party support set up. They did, they'd be showing games, all right? Also, because of the fact that it's an open OS, let's say, oh, people are like, yeah, that means anybody can go ahead and publish games or whatever for this fucking thing. Yes, anybody can, but that also means that when they do and they start selling that stuff, whether it be, you know, online or any other place, the folks, the company that owns Atari now is not going to get any money off of it. They're not going to see any profits at all, which will give them no reason to support the box going forward. All right, that's one of the things a lot of people haven't realized. Okay, and look, if you're somebody who's sitting there saying, no, these guys have it under control, you're telling me that it took one fucking thing. All right, a key aspect, which means it's got to be something that's so fucking important. It should have been obvious that it should have been there in the midst of all of this, okay, that they're willing to go ahead and sit there and say, stop, we can't ask for your money just yet. All right? If this was fucking McDonald's, all right, this would be like them sitting there trying to go ahead and say, sorry, we can't sell any fucking chicken McNuggets. We ran out of pink paste. All right? Okay, I can't make any Big Macs or any quarter pounders with cheese because we don't have the cheese or any buns. All right, or we forgot to pay the fucking gas bill for the place. You know.
No, wait. You were talking about third-party games. Have they even put forward any first?
No. There's nothing. There's nothing. That was the point of my addendum video. There was nothing. All right. You know, people sit there and say they have a grand back library. Yeah, and you know what's funny is that, you know, and there's any number of emulators or retro boxes that are out there, set-top boxes that already do this stuff. All right, that I'm not concerned about. But the thing about it is that right now, this particular company can't even sit there and say for sure that they have those retro games ready to go on this box. Okay, so look, if you're somebody who's out there who wants to go ahead and support this project, I'm telling you, take this as a clue. All right, this should be a big clue as the sort of support and infrastructure that they have in mind for this. Because if it's so fucked up that they're going to go ahead and they are going to be forced to delay. Sorry, we can't take your money, and their whole spring 2018 plan of launch is thrown completely into question now. All right, let's also not forget the fact that they wanted to go ahead and start this crowdfunding campaign and get the get the word out about the Atari Box while, what was it, Blade Runner 2049 was out, because they had licensed out the Atari logo to be all over that fucking movie. And but that movie bombed. It didn't do well. All right. So obviously they didn't have the type of, you know, ready-made, you know, momentum to go ahead and jump on. So this is just one of those things where I don't yeah. I mean, and there are other things that you could sit there and you could factor in, but I think we've really gone over that enough.
What first-party games does Atari own? What rights do first-party games do they own?
They have the rights to their original library that they put out, okay, and those versions of the games that they put out. If it's something that was licensed to them, they don't have rights to that, okay. They don't have license to make an updated version of a particular game that's been licensed to them, okay.
Well, the thing is, what's interesting is that, like you just mentioned earlier, is that if the excuse that everybody's using about a third party, that anybody can make a game for that, right? Isn't that what caused the video game crash? That shit was coming out, that it was almost to a point to where anybody in their basement can make a game and put it out?
It was that, but it was just being oversaturated with crap.
Well, that's my point that I'm making.
It wasn't just, it's not that people were making great games. It was just being oversaturated with crap.
And that's what's going to happen with this Atari Box.
Wait, it's going to have games for it? It's actually going to come out? It's actually going to be finished? It's actually going to get funded? You're actually going that far. And that's why I can't.
I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic here. I mean, I'm trying. That's what
my optimism was just playing my Atari. That's what I was doing. If you couldn't hear it in the background.
Yes, I heard Pac-Man.
So, no. I'd be playing combat, but I can't play that by myself. So,
yeah. I mean, really, I would.
Okay. It's funny how when we first heard about the Atari Box, and we were pretty much open-minded about it until we started finding more information. And then certain people were still optimistic about it, even though the information was out. And I'm like, wait a minute, look, let's look at the common sense factors about this. People didn't want to hear any of that. They wanted to just be, oh no, fuck you guys. You guys are not real gamers. You're just Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony fanboys.
It's funny. I got Atari games right there above my head. You know what's funny is that I remember watching a video that was put in my feed, my YouTube feed, as a recommended video. But one of the big points the guy said is that if the guys at Atari are able to put together 10 exclusive games, all right, for this box, then it would turn things around. At which case, I wonder if that dude knows that basically Atari, the marketing firm, there isn't any dedicated development studio for them. All right,
no, not for
the
games.
Marketing firm that actually exists in the States is literally an office in a building that's filled with like 10 guys. All right, handling day-to-day legalese and marketing issues for like portable mobile games. All right, here in the States. All right. My biggest thing about anything that Atari does, and especially anybody who sits there and says, oh yeah, Atari is back. Look, this is not the Bushnells, okay? These are not the motherfuckers who created the home console, or excuse me, not created, but established the home console industry, all right, here in the States. And then consequently also made it into a worldwide phenomenon, all right? This is not those guys, okay? Mm-hmm. Those guys have not been around since like 81 when they first decided to go ahead and sell everything the fuck off, okay, and decide to retire out to their ranches and shit like that, okay? This is not those guys.
It's funny because they've even tried to come back multiple amount of times, talking about Atari itself, with the 5200, the 7800, the XE.
Let me ask you this question then. How many times has the Atari logo or the Atari company have traded hands since the beginning?
Fred Chesnace.
Huh?
Fred Chesnace, the current corporate owner, current CEO of Atari right now. He is the current corporate owner. He is the 5th corporate owner.
That's my point exactly.
He got a hold of it. He got a hold of what's up?
Within the last 30-something years?
No, he got a hold of Atari. I believe he got a hold of Atari when they were. He went ahead and he bought them out when they were on the verge of filing, I believe, Chapter 11 bankruptcy and financial protection, which would actually require them to go ahead and liquidate all of their IP assets back in like 2014. So,
no, I mean, he was the 5th person within the last.
Out of the whole length of
out of the whole link, yeah, this is the 5th new owner.
That's all to tell you something. When a company's traded hands that many times.
Now, obviously, the brand name holds some value, and there's a reason why people haven't gotten rid of the brand name and stuff like that. But this does not. Look, if people were thinking that, you know, Nintendo, all right, a company that is over 100 years old and has spent over the last 30 fucking years being a mainstay within the video game industry, they were expecting them to fail with a fucking Switch.
Yeah.
How can anybody realistically sit there and tell me that the Atari Box has a fart's chance in a hurricane to actually make a mark and be successful?
Oh man. Well, it's just that the problem is, like we mentioned at the beginning of this video, is there's just not enough money thrown at Atari to make a dent, to make it. I mean, if there was, and I'm not talking about millions, I'm talking about billions was thrown into it, and an actual corporation like Microsoft or Sony or some other company, you know, does that, and then actually can put out like a real Atari and make it more modern, then maybe people will grasp at it. That knowing that a financial background like Sony or Nintendo or Microsoft, for that matter, is there to support it. But right now, like you said, it's 10 guys in a Manhattan freaking storeroom. No, that's not good. No, and then you're asking money to help your project. No. So many red flags go up, and wow, I just can't. I don't understand why people think that this would succeed. They
just heard the name Atari and they went with that.
Oh,
that's all. That's that. I mean, when you think about it, that's all. That's pretty much what people did. They heard Atari. And as gamers, we connected that, or they connected that, and they're like, yes. And then, for most people, that was pretty much it.
I mean, I think we were the only. I'm not saying the only, but I think we're some of the only people that actually were critical about this.
Oh no, there were many people critical.
Yeah,
well, I'm not saying that we were exclusively criticizing it, but I mean, we were a part of that. You know, we were like, whoa, wait a minute.
And I
want to on the nostalgia.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and I want to reiterate again. You know, from the very beginning, it's like I said, it's not like I'm somebody who doesn't want, you know, a company or an entity from my childhood to come back, a brand name from my childhood to come back and be successful. I'm not sitting here on my front door with a shotgun in my hand saying, that's not coming in my house. No, I'm not saying that at all, okay? Because, you know, as the more success that we see in the video game industry, the better, all right? The problem that I've had from the very beginning, okay, and I think the problem that all of us have had, you know, from the very beginning, all right, is that when we come down to the brass tacks, the facts and the details that have been put forward by Atari themselves, okay, and this is looking past any of the marketing speak and all of that and all the buzzwords and all of the pretty pre-rendered 24-second, you know, fucking animated films and stuff like that. You know, when we look past the actual substance of any of the stuff that they put together, and we look at the company that's actually got a hold of Atari, I'm sorry, there's nothing there that's making me confident. There's nothing there that's making any of us in this video confident that there's actually going to be something real there.
Not
There
just
is no
that.
physical box. There's nothing. It's not real.
Wait,
It's CG.
not just all that, but look at the prototype that they showed us.
It's not even
There
a
wasn't even
prototype.
a fucking slot for games to go in it.
Theme. It's not even a prototype. It was a.
But what I'm saying is,
rendered
when they
computer.
showed us the actual Atari box and what it was going to look like, and I'm like, where are the games going to go?
Yeah. No. And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, but they tweeted out pictures showing the Atari box next to TV with the UI and everything. Yeah, but there's nothing showing that the Atari box is actually fucking hooked up to the TV. All right? For all you know, the Atari box should be right there next to the TV, but the TV is hooked up to somebody's fucking PC that's out of frame. I don't see how that proves anything.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, you know what? We're already running a lot longer on this than what I initially planned us to. Yeah, and this, folks, you know, Atari Box, it's been delayed. You know, the too long didn't read or too long don't want to fucking watch you guys talk about this summary is the folks at the Atari Box can't cheat you out of their money because they forgot something really important, okay? So they have to delay their shit and may not ever come out, all right? But that's just the too long didn't watch summary of it. And, you know, if you want to watch, you can see our reasons why we don't think that's a surprise, all right? You know, with that, you know, if you want to tell us what you think about this new current development with the Atari Box, I don't know if development is really the right word, or this inevitable happening with the Atari Box occurring. You know, if you want to tell us your views on that, feel free to do that by leaving us a comment below. While you're at it, if you've liked this video, you go ahead and mash on that like button. If you didn't like it, you could mash on like. You know, at least that tells us that you might have watched it, okay? But at least you clicked on it. Haha, you know, fooling you, man. That trick's on you.
No, it doesn't.
All right.
Say that. The Atari Box, downvote.
Yeah, well, it'll only register once, so, you know, trick's on you. All right. And if you really care to follow us, you know, and watch all the new stuff that we put out, whether or not it's to like what we like, or if you're really interested, or you just want to badger us and tell us we suck, hey, that means you're a fan of a different type if that's the case, all right? You can do that by subscribing to all of our channels. In fact, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe, especially if you don't like us, because that'll just tell you that, yes, we're here to anger you even more. All our bullshit about the Atari Box, the newest development, ends right here, folks. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
And I'm Gray Mouse One.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and wait, gaming? No. Credits.
I'm using my imagination. You know why? Because there isn't anything fucking there.
Wow. At this point, Tiger games are better than this. At least they came out with something that worked.
Those fucking things are real. Not this shit.